Reports of my demise. All right, let me make sure that you look like you. People can hear me, huh? Hello, everybody. Good morning. How you guys doing? Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, me too. I've been up for a little bit, but I was in bed with the kiddo because she was freaking out because Mama's going to work again and she can't handle it. So I've been consoling her and trying to like let them know it's gonna be okay. Yeah, Mike. Good job making me have to justify that. Good job. Wow. Yeah. Father. Uh, yeah. Okay. You're looking good there. We can just cut over to you. There we go. Okay. And then I'm gonna bring up your volume here. All right.
All right.
We're looking pretty good. We'll get started.
Yeah, you're looking pretty good.
Yeah. I got
There's a little bit of sound in the background for you, but
People won't hear that on the show.
The Discord is worst for that because
I know.
I use chat.
I used to complain about it a lot, and Jeff had to yell at me.
Yep.
Wow, I'm sorry.
Put him in his place.
Oh shit. Okay. Have a good podcast, yo.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Okay. Not Nick Turbo leaves. He doesn't want to get kicked.
Yeah,
yeah. Mod powers again.
Hey. You know? we do a good job of training our Nintendogs.
Yeah, that's right. You show the pup the back of the hand once.
Just rolled up the newspaper. How's it going, chat? We are starting very soon. If you're in chat, if you want to go ahead and give us that thumbs up, that like, that would be
the open stream elements, Jeff.
Open stream elements. Interesting idea.
And we're gonna tweet.
Already got a super chat from Brap. Stream elements.
Oh, you already tweeted. Wow. Very cool.
All right, Pablo Cosby, Metroid Prime, 100%ed it. Excellent. It's a good game.
I think I might have had to mess up my gain for something else yesterday. Is my mic still okay? I think I'm trying to back where it was.
Let me take a look at. I think we're like right in line according to OBS. Yeah, we look good. This looks good. This sounds good. I've had one person tell me that sometimes I'm louder than you, but I think most of the time we're fine. Okay. Let's see. Morning voice. What do we have left to do? I have stream elements, and I'm looking at the super chats there already, so that's good. I have the rundown. I can hit OK. I can pause that.
You see all these old Star Trek games went on GOG. Oh, baby!
I did not see that. That's awesome. People were asking about that recently, so that's cool.
Including Elite Force 1 and 2. Bridge Commander, man, there's a game I was really excited about back. I remember Bridge Commander had mic support, so you were supposedly like yell commands to your bridge crew. I don't know how that ever worked.
Is that excuse me? Is that co-op Star Trek game that you and AJ love? Is that anywhere?
Based on the movie, I don't think so. That's too new. No, I think me and him are the only one who hold any kind of a torch for that one. That's like, yes, it's stupid,
but it's your stupid.
It's mine. Yeah, I own that one. This be mine. Any other last minute questions? I think I got them all.
All right.
This is where I watched my parents die, Parappa.
This is where you watched your parents die. Yeah, it's been in my head too.
Oh, can't think of anything else.
All right, we can get started. We can do this. Let's check the audio and then the music.
Let's see. Let's see. That's my favorite part. Mike, can you hear that?
Hey, Mike, I bet you can hear this.
Hey, you guys hear me?
Man.
Stop.
Right. I haven't done any other podcasts between now and last Friday, so good. All right, I'm looking at this rundown that you've done.
Mike a bit quiet.
Mike a bit quiet. Yeah, Jeff a bit loud. I see that now. Let's bring him up. Bring me up. Do. Bring me up. Bring me down.
Bring me up.
Tess.
Like
check.
before.
Jeff. Check. Checking your Jeffs.
Got my cute little miniature Code Zero.
Yeah. Oh, is the kids playing with something over there? Okay.
I hear nothing.
All right, everybody. Once again, if you're watching live, thank you so much. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Let's try to get over. Whenever we get over 200 likes, that's always a good show. The show always does good. So, we only have 87 people watching before the show's begun. But by the end of the show, 200 likes. They always file in eventually. What do you think the chances are? We'll just savor the show. All right, Mike, are you ready? You ready?
Yeah. Do you play any Nintendo games? Do you want to update the dock? Do you need
Yeah,
to look at the dock?
Let me. I was just looking at it. Let me put a game in there because. You got this. Okay. All right, I'm good. You ready?
Yes, I am completely ready now.
5, 4, 3.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now! Yeah, let's get this over with. Yeah.
Woof woof. I'm Mike Minotti, and I am a Nintendog.
Hi, I'm Jeff Grubb, and I'm a Nintendog.
And we are the last of the Nintendogs. You rapping me there. That's the wrong brand, Jeff.
Sorry, I messed up.
That's all right. I've had that thing stuck in my head. If you look up Parappa the Rap of Batman if you want to have a good time. This week we're going to look at the WarioWare reviews from inside our Nintendo jail. We're talking about our favorite Game Boy Color games, which is a completely separate discussion than the original Game Boy games. And Sega done messed up again. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. We are sitting inside Nintendo jail, though, trying to spot the graffiti of other people, like saying, "Hey, this is what WarioWare is like." And so, yeah, that's how I'm doing mostly. But I'm also still pretty busy, still figuring out the schedule of kids and stuff. So not a ton of time for gaming. Although I did beat a game this week, but it wasn't a Nintendo game. It'll be good when it does come to Switch, and hope I will heartily recommend it for that audience. And I think it probably will eventually.
Is this a game you not talk about? You just teasing us?
No, it's the Forgotten City, but it's just not.
Oh gosh, yes, I should. No, you wouldn't shut up about that game.
I won't shut up about that game. That's right. Yes, but yeah, and then just kind of hanging out, doing stuff. It's also avoiding people. There was a party down the street this weekend, and I didn't go.
Party?
Yeah, like they were outside for kids and stuff, and I'm like, I don't want my kids to have good memories. I'm just gonna keep them inside the house.
That sounds like it might have been fun for your kids who have probably just been indoors for the last 2 years exclusively.
Well, mostly it's just Steph just started school, and we're worried about I don't know if we want to go and increase our contact with people that much so soon.
They should rub their faces against all the other kids.
It's mostly a mental thing, though, is what it is, because we would have been outside. It's just a mental thing. It's hard to get back over that hump of we're gonna hang out with people. Although I do think I'm gonna hang out with some friends this weekend, so I'm looking forward to that.
Now I know you're lying.
It's weird because suddenly, all of a sudden, I have friends in Colorado. It's weird. So yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, no wonder it's even harder to text you than normal.
Yeah. Listen, that's just the ADHD. That's just I don't like you, Mike.
That's the last time I texted you. What are you? Are you sending your text to my voice only account? I'm like, what are you talking about? And am I? I don't know. I'm texting.
Listen, that was not me complaining at you. No, that's not. That's not your fault. I just got a new phone and I hadn't downloaded the voice app yet. It was literally like that day I got a new phone, so I just was still setting it up and I hadn't set up the voice.
What you're saying is you won't give me your actual phone number.
You have my actual phone number because I've definitely also texted you with that before. I think you just when my name comes up, the first number is the one that goes to my voice. That's all.
Jeff, let's talk about Nintendo.
Yeah, stop scolding me and let's talk about Nintendo.
I'll tell you what. It is my favorite pastime. Well, we also were a little late today. I didn't give you too much on-air shit about that, but that's your fault.
Motherfucker.
All right. Jeff, everyone's wondering when's the next Nintendo Direct. Rumblings are happening. Some people think it might be happening imminently, soon. Everyone seems to expect Xenoblade Chronicles 3 to get announced. What do you have anything for us, Mr. Grubb Stacks, Mr. Frequent Linker, Mr. Strong Internet Man?
Yes, the internet's strongest man is here to tell you
that's right.
that I know I don't have anything insidery to tell you about this. Although I feel like there's like a 15% chance that in 10 minutes they're gonna just drop a Nintendo Direct Mini or something like that.
Oh
like,
my God, wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, that would be fun.
To watch it live.
We would totally like at least scrub through it live pretty quickly. But yeah, I think there's a chance that it still happens like that. I mean, it's Wednesday. The thing is like, would they stick to Thursday if that was their original plan with the Sony doing their showcase on Thursday? And I think there's a chance that Nintendo just wouldn't care and would just stick to that. Yeah. But I don't know. I do get the sense that it's like a mini, and people say, oh, well, they announced the minis day before. And no, that one in March of 2020, the one that I did originally call, I remember freaking out specifically because the day before they never said anything and they just shadow dropped the whole Direct.
It probably was to spite you.
I'm sure it was, and that was the beginning of our judgment and
of our rough relationship with Nintendo, apparently.
Yeah, but yeah, if it doesn't happen this week, I think it's probably going to happen next week. We're going to get one in September. There is a lot happening. I mean, there's just a lot of signs pointing in that direction. There's a couple of games now that were like leaking on the eShop that this week, and it's like, okay, that kind of sounds like something that could have been like, I think it's Alan Wake Remaster, I think is one of them, and it's like, okay, that sounds like the kind of thing that shows up in a Nintendo Direct. So it does feel imminent still, but that is just me speculating based on the publicly available information that everyone has. So yeah, how are you feeling about it? Do you expect us to get it?
Well, first off, weren't you the very first person to say anything about an Alan Wake Remastered like months and months and months ago?
Yeah. I think I don't know if I was the first person. I think that there was a leaked thing from inside of the Epic Game Store, and then I confirmed that was real. So there was like a leaker that like actually got data, and then I was like, yeah, that's real. So before that, I had talked about them going back to work on Alan, probably when I talked about Alan Wake, I might have mentioned that there was an Alan Wake Remastered as well, but they're working on an Alan Wake follow-up, a sequel. It's very early for that, but I mentioned that as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I definitely think there's going to be one soon. I don't feel it in my bones this week. I based that off of nothing, and because I said that, it'll almost certainly drop during this show now.
Yeah, you got those dumb bones, those stupid bones.
I do think that maybe Nintendo won't actually want to do it the same day as the Sony thing, and I don't think they want to do it on Friday, and I don't think they're doing it today. I do think they would probably still say something. I know they didn't the one time, but these days I feel like they would want to, maybe. So I don't know. I'm still expecting it more next week, but we'll see. All right. Aside from that, Jeff, the WarioWare reviews came out this morning. Where's yours? Where's mine?
In my heart. It's in my heart.
I'll tell you. There was at one point we were given hope that we were going to get code for this one, but that didn't happen.
Yeah,
that's all right. We get it.
I wonder if it's like an arbitrary number of like months or years that we're in Nintendo jail.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some groveling for Metroid now. That's my next plan here.
Yeah, so. that is like stressful a little bit. Like thinking about like,
I don't want to miss out on Metroid, but we'll see. But yeah, so the average review here is a 75 on Metacritic with something like 35 reviews. Consensus seems to be that it's fun, the campaign is short, and it's lacking, too much depth. But I mean, that kind of sounds in line with this series a bit, right?
Yeah, and I think 75, 80-ish is kind of in that range where you expect most WarioWare games to fall off. Maybe this is like, slightly short. I guess, what really can you glean from a Metacritic? Metacritic's kind of just like there to serve you for if you're someone who doesn't know anything and you're just trying to make sure you're not making a boneheaded mistake at the store. That's kind of what Metacritic is for. But so like trying to like gauge the overall take of this game based on that, it's tough because WarioWare is weird and it always could be short and sort of sweet like that. And then if that's like if people are factoring in value, that can can mess up those scores a little bit. I do think that when I was reading some of the reviews, people were saying, hey, the gimmick here isn't quite as strong as some of the past gimmicks. And for people who don't remember, the gimmick here is you are not just interacting with the micro games, these like very short burst 5 to 10 second games that happen in quick succession, which is how WarioWare is always played. And this one, you are playing as a character inside of those games. So you choose Wario or one of the many people on his crew from the previous WarioWare games, and they all have different abilities, and that's the gimmick here. And to me, it still seems like a pretty good idea. It definitely seems like a really good idea for something like 2-player games, which is like I think the focus of this, or maybe up to 4-player. I can't remember. But also I could see that being like occasionally frustrating if you encounter something where you're like, I know how to solve this. Getting this character to do that thing is a little bit difficult. And maybe that's outside the spirit of WarioWare. I will say that, if this series never gets another chance, I will be sad. But I feel like there's a strong possibility like this is the end of WarioWare if this game kind of comes out and fizzles a little bit. And I think it's a little bit of a shame because I just started looking into a game, and I'm gonna find that. Okay, it's called Spookware, and it just came out on Steam, and it is a micro game RPG. And I just booted up for the first time ever last night for a little bit. Barely touched it, but Besties, a podcast over on Polygon, they're like, we're a Spookware fan account now. Like they're in love with it, and to me, I'm in love with the concept of like taking what makes WarioWare so frantic and cool and interesting and applying that to a larger sort of genre instead of trying to scale it back for family couch co-op or family couch multiplayer. I think that might have been the right direction, but I think that's Nintendo right now is, hey, let's get a bunch of people let's get our families on the couch playing games. That's the audience right now that is showing up for the Switch, and we really want to appeal to them. We don't have to really appeal to the people, the Nintendogs survived everything else. They're going to stick with us through this, like no matter what we do here. So this slightly more casual audience, this family audience that was really hard to capture in the first place, we should keep catering to them. And I think that, Nintendo always sort of does this. They're in a really good position, and they don't quite sort of walk that straight and narrow path of like how to stay perfectly between all these different audiences that they are catering to. And you end up with something like the most recent Mario Golf that is a solid golf game. It's weird to play by yourself. If you're not playing it as a party game, it's weird. I think this might be in the same situation. And I think it's just a shame when you see something like, a really good idea like Spookware, which again, we'll say that name again, Spookware. It's on Steam. I think it's a few other places. It's on itch.io as well.
It's disappointing when Nintendo doesn't like come up with a good idea.
Yes, right. Yeah, and it's like it's a really good idea. Like you don't have Mario and Luigi anymore. Alpha Dreams closed down. There's maybe space for another RPG in there, and this could have been like the Wario and Waluigi RPG of like Wario and Waluigi.
You're never gonna let that one go.
Yeah, I know. It's just like it's the dream, right? But it's a shame. You're right. If Nintendo would have come up with that, it would have been really ideal. But I'll just go play Spookware. I'm not complaining too much.
A couple of things there. First off, I see Rebecca Stone from the Nintendo Shack podcast in our chat taunting us with cat memes. No, we're mad at her. This is the 10 dogs, not the 10 cats.
Oh,
she could be the Nintendo cat there.
Wow.
On that other show.
I'm a cat person. Don't worry.
You're literally one of the last 2 Nintendogs in the world. You can't be a cat person.
Fair enough. Sorry.
Hi, Rebecca. You guys sound despairing there a bit. Do you think this game's like? You think this Metacritic of 75? You think that's going to hurt? You think this isn't going to be? This is going to be below expectations.
I think most people are going to ignore this game. Is kind of how I'm feeling right now. I think it needed to just kind of get into the 80s to like sort of get enough attention to be like, oh, this is like a sleeper hit. This is something like, hey, I'm going to pick this up. It probably might still be one of the best-selling WarioWare games just because of the Switch. But I think there's a chance that like it's not gonna be Luigi's Mansion, and even
it's
a $50 game. Excuse me, so it's budget, but it's not like even gonna be. It might not even be as like successful as Paper Mario, but like Clubhouse games sold like a couple million units almost, I think, and that that was $30 or $40, a little bit more budget game, but
this does have to sell probably 2 million. That seems right for this.
Yes,
right?
Yes, that seems about right. And I'm not like despairing for like my personal enjoyment. I bet I'm gonna like this game. But I'm just despairing a little bit for the future of WarioWare, which, hey, we got another one. I never thought that necessarily would have happened, so that's cool. But if it doesn't happen after this, it's like I won't be too surprised.
Man, I'm so excited to see how sad you get when Advance Wars gets a 60 Metacritic.
Oh my god, please don't say that.
You know what would have bumped the Metacritic up? Because, you know, we just had that 1 to 5 review scale. I'm sure you would probably give this a 4 out of 5. Then
probably, yeah, it could have helped, yeah.
Might be a 76 out of it. I
mean,
know.
listen, that's an own goal by Nintendo. That's just their problem. That's their fault.
That is. They're punishing, you know, and it's hurting them more than it's hurting us. I can
That's
actually,
right.
That's actually not a joke. It really is.
I think it probably is. Yes.
That we care about their Metacritic scores, but we do tend to like Nintendo games.
It's true.
All right. Nintendo announced this week it will not be at the Tokyo Game Show. Jeff, does that surprise you at all?
No, not really. You know, they're kind of always kind of hot and cold with the Tokyo Game Show, right? I'm not surprised by this. They have their own ways of talking to people, and Nintendo's probably not going to show up for something. I mean, they show up for E3, and then then the rest of the year they'll probably show up for the Game Awards, and then they'll have their own direct. I don't know. Tokyo Game Show seems unnecessary for Nintendo.
Time to bring back Space World.
Yeah, bring back Space World. There you go. Throw your own in-person event. That's the thing people should be doing these days.
It seems like the only really Nintendo news we're hopeful for at Tokyo Game Show, at least I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure Sega's going to announce like another Monkey Ball character or something. Is that Persona stuff? We know some of that stuff's happening, and that could include ports of the Switch finally. So we'll see if any of that comes true.
Yep.
Jeff, Sonic Colors Ultimate has released on multiple platforms, including the Switch, and it is a big old disaster on that platform. Have you seen some of these glitch videos?
I have. I've seen them. I've been kind of keeping track a little bit. I've gone back and forth where it's like, well, that looks a hot mess, and then you find out the one person is playing it on an emulator, for a Switch emulator, and they got caught because they had like a mouse cursor in one of their captured videos, and he was like, fine, I'm playing it on Yuzu. Is that what you want to hear? And everyone's like, yes, you have to tell us this. And then, but then, you know, other people have been able to replicate some of the other glitches, and including some that look like they might be able to cause epileptic seizures. So, you know, it's a mess. It's not a good first impression. Even if the game mostly works, this is the kind of stuff that sticks and sort of ruins the game's reputation. And I bet a lot of people are going from, you know, I might buy this game to I'm going to wait and see for a patch. And, you know, there's a lot of people who are going to be unmoved because they didn't care about this game in the first place. But there's some people in that audience who's like, I might buy a Sonic game. Sure, why not? And then you see that stuff and you're like, well, I'm going to save my money until I know it's going to be a little bit better. So, I don't know. Were you a Sonic Colors, you know, defender, enjoyer, what?
Not really, mostly because back in the day, I couldn't really get over the fact that it was a Wii game, right? Like Nintendo was able to make pretty Wii games. This was an ugly looking Wii game at a time where, you know, I was playing a lot of PC and Xbox 360 things. And we already had Sonic Unleashed, which wasn't a good game, but it could be a pretty game. And this was uglier than that. So, you know, the promise of this, and if you play it on like PlayStation 4, you know, or whatever, it is nice. It's like, oh yes, this game's in HD now and, you know, running at a good frame rate. It's great. But the Switch version, I think it's capped at 30 frames per second, which is a bummer. And, you know, we just had Skyward Sword, which was a very good remaster of a Wii game. And it's like now running at 60 frames per second and looks better. And, you know, probably, I'm guessing here, a more complicated game than Sonic Colors is. So, yeah, it looks like a disappointing port. I think, and look, I would like to play these games on Switch. That would make the most sense. It'd be nice to just play them portably like that. But yeah, it's just not running very well in there, and that's a bummer. And again, I don't know if this is a Sega thing or if it's again the Switch's old hardware thing. It seems like Sonic Colors should have been able to run pretty well on a Switch, and I don't know if it's because of that engine they're using, that Godot, which is kind of this newer open source thing. I don't know if that's the problem or what here, but it's a bad look, and it's and I don't know if they just missed a lot of these bugs or stuff, or if they're not as prevalent as they seem to be, but there's a lot of tweets of them. I think I heard Nintendo is doing some refunds. I don't know if that's like just part of their normal policy, or if there's something extended there. But it looks like a loss. It looks like a bit of an L. Yeah.
Looks like they could have done better here. I mean, Sega.
You love shitting on Nintendo or on Sega. You're almost holding back here.
Yeah, a little.
You love admonishing them.
Well, like I'm like thinking about like how like they just I don't know, they stub their toe all the time, and they just end up like falling down into ditches, and then the next thing you know, they're like releasing like a pretty good PC game like Humankind, which just came out recently, is pretty solid, but that's not the Sega that anybody pays attention to or notice it. Like, not Sega fans. Like, that's like if you're a modern PC player, you know that Sega has a pretty solid PC gaming publishing arm, and that's cool. But like, then if you look at like what is classically considered to be Sega, it is just a mess. It is a mess. I mean,
when you're doing something with Sonic, you probably should put your best foot forward, right?
Yeah, just get Sonic right. Like, it's you have to pay attention to the details and so many things to like get the big stuff right. Like, and then you put out something like Sonic Colors, you're not even getting the big things right. Like, you're not even like paying attention to like the biggest problems or the most important issues, which is like launching a Sonic game in a good way so that Sonic is in a good place with its fans and is well considered widely with the gaming public. If you can't even do that, then what are we talking about here? It just seems like such a mess over there all the time.
On the bright side, maybe all of this is going to spare us from a Sonic Unleashed remaster, which I feel like I'm upsetting some people by saying that. But I mean, it's Sonic fans. I absolutely am upsetting some people. It's funny because I consider myself a Sonic fan, but I still get probably more hate from any other fandom. It's from Sonic. The Sonic fans are nuts. I don't forget that time I reviewed Sonic 4 Episode 2, widely considered a terrible game, and I gave it a bad review. It was by far the most Twitter hate I ever got. It was like, guys, this game's awful. They're just bad. Like, oh, this guy likes the old games. He needs to get with the times. I'm like, man, if the times are, Sonic Unleashed, and Sonic's a werehog, and he has a pixie friend named Chip. I don't want to be with those times.
Mike, I want you to just keep ranting because I got to go change a dirty diaper, and I'll be right back, all right?
All right, you do that. Well, I don't have anything else to rant about, so I guess I'm playing my flute. I saw that Rebecca asked thoughts on WarioWare not having online multiplayer earlier. It wasn't a super chat, but I will answer that. I don't know if I don't know if that matters too much. I think, like Jeff said, they want couch co-op to really be a thing for that. But I never do online stuff with my Switch because I just assume it's going to be a bad experience. So I don't. Yeah, Sonic Unleashed is 50% a good game. They maybe should have just made those levels like a part of Sonic Colors Ultimate. I don't know. Whiskey update. Whoa, man, I was at a friend's house for the fantasy football draft, and he had this Middleton, a Jameson, not Jameson. I mean, an Irish whiskey like Jameson. I forget, it was like 20 years or something. It was a special edition of it. It was fantastic. I swear to God, it tasted like Lucky Charms, and I don't know if that's just because I'm like Irish whiskey. That's what I have in my head. It tasted very, very good. And when I say Lucky Charms, I don't mean it was like sickly sweet, but it had a bit of that almost kind of, I don't know, a hint of that sweetness and that kind of richness, and absolutely no burn whatsoever. It was very good. But I'm probably actually going to go because my Ardbeg, my Scotch is just about at end there, so I need to replace that with something new. So I might go hit up the liquor store in a couple days here and see what I can get. I'm also running out of my Four Roses bourbon, so we'll get a different bourbon. That's the first time I tried Four Roses. It was fine. I was trying to play a Deep Space Nine theme song since it's Star Trek's 55th anniversary. Yeah, that's it. I don't know what the next note is. Good enough. We'll take that. Been a long Christian. Don't you come in here with that Star Trek Enterprise theme song. Oh my God. I remember my brother made a picture slideshow for my high school graduation thing, and he used that song for the music for that, and it was very funny. 2 Irish lads in chat. I'm Italian. I am the opposite of Irish, but I still appreciate your your spirits. Literally, I mean your alcohol. Hey, Jeff's back. Oh no! False alarm! He's not back.
No, I'm back. I'm sorry.
Oh, false alarm! I'm always watching the YouTube instead of the the Discord guys.
I could tell. Okay, I'm back though. We're good. We can.
You're good. Yeah, I did not just continue on the show. You got to edit some of that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, last thing here is just that big Brain Academy, Brain vs. Brain, is coming out to the Switch on December 3rd. Jeff, does this sell more or less than WarioWare?
That's a good question. I think it probably sells a little bit less than WarioWare, but who knows? Maybe this is one of those breakout hits for that casual audience. But you know, it's another one of those games in that same vein of like, this is about local multiplayer. That's what they care about right now. So I think that they just think this is the audience for them right now, and they're going to appeal to them with this game as well. So yeah, it's still in that Nintendo wheelhouse.
All right, we talked about that before already. So that's it for the news. Let's get into some of our listener questions. You ready for that?
Yeah, let's do it.
If you have a question, you can send it in a super chat. We already got a few of those. We're also going to talk about our favorite Game Boy Color games after this, and if you want to share that in the super chat, we will get to that later too. From Matt OK. Could the recent news about a continued chip shortage lead to the delay of a Switch Pro?
Yeah, it definitely could. I know some people are probably rolling their eyes like, oh, Switch Pro, we're talking about this again. We still think Switch Pro could happen, and I think a chip shortage probably could hurt that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense. I know you said before when people talk about these kind of things that Nintendo has a good relationship with the chip makers, and they can kind of, I don't know if it says they can get to the front of the line, but they have an advantage over some people. Does that help them?
Yeah. I mean, definitely. Like, I think that they probably have a pretty good relationship with their manufacturing, and they have like long-term plans to ensure that they stay at the front of the line and don't lose their place. And I bet that they are like, no matter what, they are prepping for a new chip one way or the other. It's probably a revision first, and then that's on the new process, and then that new process will probably be pretty similar to the process they use for the Switch 2, years down the line still. And if that's, if that's how they do it, they're going to still want to make this stuff happen, chip shortage or not. But it doesn't help, and it also doesn't help that like so many of these things are so much more expensive. But that also pushes them maybe to want to revise the Switch to use less material, like what PlayStation did. So I think and revising the system again might be a Switch Pro. But we'll have to see. I do think that if a Switch Pro is going to happen, it'll happen sooner rather than later. Maybe still, like next year, late next year, probably still. But yeah, that'll still be right in the midst of a chip shortage. That chip shortage is not going to be over by then. So yeah, this could still be a problem.
And then we'll get that Sonic Colors Ultimate Switch Pro patch, and everything will be okay.
Yeah, everything will be fine. That's right. That's why they need to do. They're being pushed by Sonic Colors. They can't run Sonic Colors. They're feeling embarrassed. They're ashamed.
They're going to take the blame on that one. Dick Turbo asks, how many cat shines are in Bowser's Fury? That's very funny. For people who don't know, that's what got me into Nintendo, Joe. That's what I said that I wasn't supposed to say in my review. It was two things. And the fact that it was two is bad, but they were both very small. It was that, and I said how long the game took me to beat. Those were the no-nos. Then he asked, how many cat shines are in Tales of Arise? Trying to get me. Man, he's just trolling me here. How many cat shines are in Saints Row? I'm not answering any of these. Here's a real question from him, though. What game password do you know that you will never forget? I will never forget Horizons getting you to the last cup on Top Gear for the SNES. I'm pretty vanilla with these things. My older brother AJ, he remembers some weird passwords. Like I think he has the Sonic 1 level select memorized. I think he has the Aladdin Genesis stage select memorized. I really only know the Konami code. I know up, down, left, right, BA start. That's the only one I have committed to memory.
Yeah, I could probably do some of the Doom ones, like ID, now I can't remember, KFW or something like that, or KFA. It's like God Mode and a few others. If I like sat down on a keyboard and that muscle memory came back to me, I could probably do those. But beyond that, it's the Konami code.
Charles asks, you can add any console to the Nintendo Online service, Nintendo or not. What do you choose? I choose Game Boy Advance, as the Switch looks like a big Game Boy Advance if you squint. Nintendo or not. So that's interesting because I wouldn't say Genesis, because the Genesis collection that's on the Switch basically has everything you would want on like a Genesis Nintendo online service thing anyways. So we're pretty much good there. Then it's like, oh, if somehow there was a Saturn or a Dreamcast selection, that would be cool. That would be neat, especially Saturn, because those games are pretty hard to emulate and to find anywhere else. If I just had a really reliable collection of those games somewhere, that would be fantastic. Game Boy Advance does make a lot of sense, and it's also a reasonable, like, even GameCube, as much as I like that, there is something that makes sense about Game Boy Advance on Switch that would be very pleasing, and that's definitely pretty high up there for me. How about you, Jeff?
Yeah, thegame.com.
Wow.
No, I don't. Yeah. You've said most of the ones that I would want. Like, I think, I mean, obviously Game Boy Advance does make a lot of sense. I mean, and then, if it's anything, I mean, you would say PlayStation 2 or something like that, right? Because it's like, oh, of course. But I just feel so dirty to say it like that.
It doesn't seem reasonable.
Yes,
like
it feels
the
wrong.
Sega one seems slightly reasonable.
Right, like
but...
Saturn and Dreamcast, like that would be great. That'd be very cool. Those would be good. I would like that. I guess maybe like 3DO. There's some cool 3DO games. You could get like Road Rash or Slayer or something like that, and those would be cool.
3DO would be neat. Yeah, that'd be cool. I just was watching the Digital Foundry retro video about the 3DO Road Rash. I had a 3DO, and I did not have any of the. Yeah, I did. I did not have any of the good games for it. I had quote unquote good games. Like, I didn't have the 3DO version of Street Fighter 2. I didn't have Road Rash. I had the 3DO Jurassic Park game, which was a treat.
Yes, that is a good one. That's the one where like the raptors are like chasing you inside a building, right, or something like that.
It's like a bunch of different games. Like, that's one of them. Okay. One of them is just you're driving away from the T-Rex. Like, some of them are literally just old school arcade games like Galaga, but you're shooting like pterodactyls instead. There's a lot. No. There's a lot of live action. There's a lot of live action stuff.
No, we're not going to let Galaga go by again. Are you doing it on purpose now?
I was like, what did I say? No,
are you doing it on purpose now?
No, I'm not. Galaga.
Nope, like Galaxy. Come on, go for it.
Galaxy. Galaga.
There you go. Galaga.
Galactic.
Jesus
I was going to say Space Invaders from now on, so
Yeah.
you don't get mad at me.
Look at chat's all mad too.
Well, chat's mad at me that my family was able to afford a 3DO, which fair. That is an
that
exorbitant waste of money.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
My wife played 3DO when her family would not have been able to afford it, but her cousin or something like did, and so she has a lot of memories of playing that Jurassic Park game and Slayer and stuff like that. So yeah, that'd be cool to have it on the Switch.
Well, I mostly liked Mad Dog McCree. I thought Mad Dog McCree is the coolest thing in the world. It's incredibly hard.
Good too. Yeah.
Yes, that was. I liked those guns like that. And Who Shot Johnny Rock? Man, I can't believe I remember that name. 3DO. All right, I gotta find that thing. I wonder if I could still get it to work. Actually, I think I did find it not too long ago. I gotta get it on there. All right. Wolf Hunter asks, I want to know what was the best GameCube color. I have the silver one. Also, what was the best faceplate people had in their GameCube? I had a Twin Snakes one.
Spice Orange.
Spice Orange is the best color. Spice Orange is color. Now, there's a lot of good GameCube colors. You really can't go wrong. Even their black somehow looks better than most black.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, but I mean, I love the classic indigo is great. The silver is really nice.
The indigo. Yeah, the purple is great. Yes.
Yeah, but Spice Orange still speaks to me. When we redesigned GamesBeat and they were like, "What's our new color palette going to be?" I just eyedroppered the Spice Orange from a GameCube and said, "How about this?" Like, okay, yeah, we like that. So that's what we use now. I love that color. I don't actually. I have a controller. I never got a Spice Orange GameCube, and someday I think I'm going to have to just do that and have one so I can finally know happiness. Yes, it was I had a Panasonic 3DO. Everybody, for those asking. I didn't mess around with faceplates though. That wasn't really my thing. I think the only system I really cared about, I even thought about faceplates for, was the 360. I remember they made it really easy to do faceplates, and it was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was like a pretty big deal for a year, and then after that, no one cared. No one ever talked about faceplates again. Yeah, a couple years, maybe. But it was like they made a big deal about it when they first showed the 360 with Jay Allard sitting down, cross-legged on the stage with this hoodie, and talking about Skater Girl 7 or whatever it was, and then they're like, yeah, you could design, you can or customize your own thing, and then like you'd go into GameStop and they'd have faceplates all across the wall, but. I don't know. For me, it was always just about like I just want to get the experience of the games. So I mostly have ignored faceplate stuff. I get like custom 3DSs and DSs over time and stuff like that. Like if there was a Zelda one or the Mario and Luigi one I got and stuff like that. But I've never really cared about faceplates specifically. Although when they showed that new 3DS, the small one that had faceplates, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then that never came here. So or at least not really.
That's right. That was a thing.
Yeah.
My younger brother had a Eternal Sonata faceplate for 360, which is incredible because he hates JRPGs. He hates weebiness things, but he loved Eternal Sonata, which is a very weeby JRPG thing. I think he just really liked that. Was it Chopin, the classical? Like he just really liked that premise. Oh, you're playing as this classical composer. I think that just really spoke to him. Huh. All right. That's it for the questions that we got from Discord. Do we have some super chats, Jeff?
Yeah, we got a few. Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. Brap says, good morning, Jeff and Mike. Good morning, Brap. We appreciate that. From Nick Turbo, you guys, are you guys excited about the new Mario Party? And then he does the eyes emoji. Whatever.
I'm more excited. I'm more excited for that than I have been for one in a long time, just because I am an old person who likes the old Mario Party games. Like those were the ones I played very much, or specifically one. So playing on those boards again, but without as many annoying mini games that it's going to destroy my palm and my analog stick. That sounds appealing.
Yeah, I think those are the Mario Party games I played as well. I just also don't have I don't hold a torch for those games very much. I don't know. I'll have to see. Maybe it'd be the kind of thing where if they have pretty good sort of autoplay stuff for like kids, like the Mario Kart games do, maybe I'll play with my family. We'll see. I'll have to take a look.
Mario Party is going to teach your kids how to know anger in their hearts.
Yeah, I mean, and I think they need that. So I'm gonna bring that into my home. J Stud McLovin, woof woof. I'm working on a game room and gonna display retro consoles, but use device/PC from ROM or for ROM play. He says in parentheses, I own the games. Okay, all right, we believe
you. Don't have to explain yourself to us. But
yeah. You get to tell it to the judge. He says I'm PC illiterate. Suggestions. I would just start small and go with and just like install RetroArch, and then kind of just let it do most of the work. RetroArch is sort of a front end for a lot of different emulators. Now you will get better
something you like put on a RetroPie or something like that.
You can put it on RetroPie, but you can put it on PC. You can put it on just a Windows PC. He says device/PC. So what I mean, you're gonna get it's gonna be a little bit better on a PC, but RetroArch for everything up to like N64, PlayStation, a few other things runs pretty good on RetroPie 4, probably Dreamcast even. But if you're running on like a full-fledged PC or something like that, you could do even more. But and then start there, and if you encounter situations where the games like aren't running great in RetroArch, then start branching off and looking at specific emulators. So I guess like Dolphin for GameCube stuff and GameCube and Wii, you're not going to want to do that through RetroArch. It's just not updated enough. It's not as powerful, and you want those options. And then just follow YouTube guides for like how to set stuff up to get the best performance. That stuff is pretty useful. So yeah, good luck to you, owner of games.
All right. Any more questions?
No, not yet. But if anyone wants to send any more super chats, you can do so right now, like Nick Turbo just did. And he said, Mario Party is the game where you backstab others to succeed. Best game to teach people how to thrive under capitalism. Ooh woo.
Oh wow. Ooh woo. Ooh woo. I mean, I guess I don't detect any lies there.
Thank you for the super chats, everybody. If you want to send in any more, you can do so. We'll read them before the end of the show.
Are you ready for Game Boy Color? Oh man, I didn't even talk about it on this show. How when you went on Grubb's Next, there was another poll to ask if Game Boy and Game Boy Color are separate platforms, and there on Giant Bomb, people agree with me.
It was framed in precisely.
It was framed to say, of course. The answer was, of course it is. Color. It added colors, which is a good point. It did add colors.
Okay, all right. We don't have to relitigate this, but I was not happy with that question.
It just confirms what I think, that people like to vote against my opinion because they like to see me mad because it's funny.
All right,
you think it's funny? Someday I'm gonna get really mad and no one will be laughing, and you're all gonna regret pushing me so far. But anyways, we got some answers from our Discord friends here about their favorite Game Boy Color games. But Jeff, we are going to start first. Are you running another poll?
Yeah, but it's not the Game Boy versus Game Boy Color. This is just about do you like to vote against Mike or make Mike mad or something like that?
That'll be good.
I already forget what I wrote. So yeah. Okay, here we go.
Okay. We got another super chat from Space Dovakin. Do you like to vote against Mike? Lol, he dumb. Yes. Oh, so it's just yes and yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna vote for the one that at least says I'm not dumb. I suppose. We got a super chat from Space Dovakin just talking about the emulation stuff, saying that Duck Station is amazing right now for emulating PlayStation.
Yes, it is. And PlayStation 2 emulation is getting pretty good. Xbox emulation's starting to pick up. So yeah, you have a lot of options there for sure.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Okay, Jeff, what's your favorite Game Boy Color game?
Okay, so this one's tough because there's a lot of great Game Boy Color games. I was thinking about some of the sports titles maybe, and I think on certain days those probably are my favorite, but the one that I most vividly remember being like, wow, this is really good. This is like, and it was unexpected and it stuck with me, is Warlocked, which is a Nintendo published real-time strategy game for the Game Boy Color. That is clearly just a Warcraft ripoff, but it's a very good Game Boy Color Warcraft ripoff. It's you control little army men in the medieval time, a medieval fantasy world, and you have to get resources, and you're sending workers out to get those resources and bring them back to your base, and then you're building better units, and then you're going off to take on the goblins or whatever. It's pretty simple, but it's pretty complicated for a Game Boy Color game, especially because really it's just a Game Boy, so that's really impressive. And I don't know, I've always loved this game. I played it to death back then. I played through it probably twice, back to back. I haven't played it a lot since. It's a little bit hard to go back to because it's just like, man, you have to get back into that Game Boy Color mindset. But it probably still holds up in terms of its mechanics and stuff like that. But I loved it at the time. So yeah, Warlocked for me.
Man, a lot of people talk about this game. I kind of missed it at some point. Hopefully it'll be on Nintendo Switch sometime.
Yes, it was a Nintendo published game, so I would hope that it would be. And you know what? That's one of the things is if they the way that they do their Nintendo Switch Online stuff, they sometimes add online multiplayer to those games that didn't previously have it. And that game would be perfect for that. That would be really cool because I think it had link cable play, so it's like just add online multiplayer to that. That could be very neat.
I mean, it might be Pokemon Silver, which I know it's a black card or whatever. It can play on Game Boy, regular Game Boy. Right. That's one I associate Game Boy Color very heavily. I didn't play Crystal, which was Game Boy Color only. I don't know why. I think at that point I was like, this isn't that different from Pokemon Silver. I don't need to play this game again with like slight improvements. So Crystal I missed out on. But I do think I probably will say Oracle of Seasons, Zelda, which I like even just a little bit more than Oracle of Ages. They're both very good. And I don't think either of them even better than Link's Awakening necessarily, but they are very good games. I liked the Seasons gimmick a lot. I thought that was a fun way. I mean, as long as Zelda games have been doing that since, it's basically the same thing that Link to the Past does. It's push a button to kind of change your environment slightly, and you solve puzzles that way. But with Seasons, there's 4 of them, and there's ways that makes a lot of sense, right? It's like, oh, well, there's snow blocking the path here, so just go over to summer, or there's a tree here. If we go to winter, it won't be there. Stuff like that was really good. I like that, you had animal friends, which is always good. Just a really fun Zelda experience, and I don't necessarily need them remade like Link's Awakening, but I hope that they do just become available. I agree. On the Switch. That would be fantastic.
All of those games from that NES period eventually got a version that had one with animal friends. There are like Kirby and Bomberman, and I bet there's a bunch of other
Metroid Save the Animals.
Metroid Save the Animals. Yeah, exactly. You eventually always get animal friends. So yeah, totally.
Yeah, so what kind of feature can we? I don't know. Animal friends. All right, we'll do that.
Animals, yeah.
All right, so let's get some of these answers from our community. Turbo Sean said, "My favorite Game Boy Color game which is actually a black part game. So that does not make it a Game Boy game with color enhancements, just like a PlayStation 4 game with PlayStation 4 Pro enhancements. It's still just a PlayStation 4 game. Mr. Minotti, man, people are coming at me. How dare you? Anyways, his answer is the Pokemon trading card game. I have a very fond association between it and Christmas, and that's when I was able to find a loose card of it at the mall back in the early 2000s for about $10. I'm a lifelong Pokemon fan, but grew up very poor. He did not have a 3DO. So getting Pokemon cards, games, toys, etc. was always limited to birthday and Christmases. I remember easily selling my dad and picking up that card as an early Christmas gift when I told him that the $10 purchase would replace all my Pokemon card desires for the foreseeable future. I wonder if he held true to that, because I know if I was a kid, and I that's the kind of bargaining I would do as a child.
And
then,
it would,
like, the next
it would last a week, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, the Pokemon Fossil expansion came out. He continued. I played the crap out of that game, which is a fantastic little card battler with a banger of a soundtrack that plays like a Pokemon RPG. You go around challenging people at gyms with your starter theme deck based around Venusaur, Charizard, or Blastoise, of course. You earn badges and build up your deck using packs you earn and cards you trade on your journey to battle the 4 Grandmasters and earn the legendary cards. It totally holds up to this day. I still play it often, speed running with my favorite decks. It taught me how to play the real-life card game as a child, and as a result, I've been playing the TCG competitively off and on for the past 20 years. See, so look at that. It did it. So he did get back to the card game. So at some point, somebody was buying cards. I've met a lot of people and had amazing experiences doing that, and it started with this Game Boy Color game that holds a very special place in my heart. Yeah, this game rules. And this was very early on in, like, we're getting new Pokemon games. And I think this was one of the first new ones we got in the West after Red and Blue, like this Stadium.
It was very
Snap. Fun fact: this was also the very first game I ever bought online. Like it got mailed to me. I forget. There was some site that was like the main place to go for imports, and I didn't import it. They were just selling like the U.S. version of it, but I bought it through there. Like I found like the thing on a magazine or something. Huh. But this game is very good. Very good early example of doing like a digital trading card game. This set me up to love the Capcom vs. SNK card game that came out for the Neo Geo Pocket Color, which is also fantastic. But this is pretty much just as good. This was really cool. This is something that I do wish they would do again, especially now on the Switch. I say that I bet it wouldn't be the same somehow. I don't know why, but it wouldn't.
They have an online Pokemon trading card game that is the one where you're supposed to like spend a lot of money and collect the cards.
Right. Exactly. So they want to be that, and that's not what I want. I want just like this, where they just basically turned it into a Pokemon game with like gyms and the Elite Four essentially. Well, that was super fun.
That brings me to Space Dovahkiin, who says Pokemon trading card game was really good. That was a super chat. Thank you, Space Dovahkiin. Yeah. But to this end, Mike, do you think that when they put Game Boy Color games on Nintendo Switch Online, that they include Pokemon trading card game?
They really should. I think they will, because this is not something they're going to remake. Now the problem is it'll be a small pain to work out some of the licensing because of all the people involved here. But the Pokemon Company, which Nintendo has a stake in, but not all of, and I don't know, like if the trading card game is completely under them, or there's like a separate business you then have to also talk to. I don't know, but I think it happens. That's one that really should, because again, they're not going to make a sequel to this. They aren't going to remake this. Just give us the original. That would be fantastic.
Now, did they not already make a sequel for the Game Boy Color one that only came out in Japan? I'm gonna look it up.
Did they? That almost sounds right when you say that, right? Because I'm going to be mad.
I think so. Pokemon Card GB2. Maybe this is not. That's Bulbapedia.
Well, how about I'll let you start? How about you look it up while I read our next answer here?
Sounds good.
Aaron Tonsa says, my favorite Game Boy Color games by a mile were Wario Land 2 and 3. There were so many fun bosses and the most critically underused villains, Captain Syrup and Rudy the Clown. Outside of that, the Oracle games were also solid Zelda games that don't get the love they deserve. Yeah, I don't have many memories of Wario Land 2 and 3 specifically. Most of my memories are of 1 and 4. So I'd be pretty happy to go back to Wario Land 2 and 3 if those were, and those would probably pretty obviously be included on a Switch if there's Game Boy Color games added.
Yeah, I love all of the Wario Land games. Wario Land 1's the one like I also have the most vivid memories of, but I played Wario Land 2 and 3, I think. I don't think I ever played 4 actually is the thing. So but yeah, I loved all those games. It was a really great showcase for Game Boy and Game Boy Color eventually. And also Pokemon, okay, let's see. Pokemon Card GB2 GR Dansoju, and you can get this ROM with the English patch right now on the internet.
Well, that'd be cool. Like, I mean, they've done some of that.
Yes,
before.
exactly.
They should localize this and let us play for the first time. It'd be fantastic.
Agreed.
Like, what the heck? There's people who like to do this stuff for free. Let's pay them.
Yeah, for real. Just pay them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Also, apparently, the first Pokemon trading card game did get a 3DS Virtual Console release. Turbo Sean says. Also, Space Nova Kid came with another super chat.
Yes.
He wants to be Mike by popular demand. Say Venusaur again. Is that not right? Is Venusaur not right?
Is it Venusaur?
I think it's Venusaur. Like,
yeah,
like
you're Venus. Yeah, probably. And Venus is like there's like plants.
Venusaur is two S's. That's two distinct.
Well, I'm not saying
sounds.
Venusaur. obviously the sounds crushing. So, no, so it's Venusaur, not Venusaur. Galaga.
It's not dinosaur.
Galaga.
It's not dinosaur. It's dinosaur.
Oh my God.
Venusaur. Is that the problem?
Listen, I was never gonna pick this fight. You fight with Chad about this. All right.
I will say that as a child, I would say Charizard, like so. And I fixed that one pretty quickly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like a Venus flytrap. That would make sense, huh?
That
like
does make some sense. That's what I was thinking of, and I couldn't think of. Yeah,
that does make the most sense, huh? Yeah, look, Venusaur is the worst one, anyways. Who cares?
The chat, Carlin's like, kill me. So many Pokemon fans are all like clawing their eyes out and trying to cover their ears.
All right. Lower Legend says the best Game Boy Color games are the Oracle games. Both are super unique take on the Zelda formula. Plus, while everyone groups them together, they play quite different, and both are worth a playthrough. Yeah, it is interesting that they do get grouped together, but they are like each like the size of Link's Awakening. Like they are full games, and they do have some different. I think Oracle of Ages is a bit more combat focused, and Seasons is the one that's a bit more puzzle focused. I might have that mixed up, but there's that. But then the gimmicks are a little different. I mean, they're definitely more similar than they are different, I think. But they are very fun, and I think most people like these days, when you play the one, you want to play the other because then you unlock that true ending, which was a really neat thing. I remember did these come out around the same time as Ocarina of Time, or was it a little bit after that, or was it around the same time as Majora's Mask?
It had to be around. Might have been around Majora's Mask. That might be it. Yeah, that seems right. I
feel like there was like a bit of like a kind of like a Metroid Fusion, Metroid Prime thing there, where they all kind of came out pretty relatively close together. Giggy says, I have a soft spot for Shadowgate Classic on the Game Boy Color. While it is a better experience on the NES, I did enjoy the novelty of having a first-person point-and-click adventure-style game to play on the go in 1999. If you're looking for a more sword and sorcery fantasy affair, I do recommend checking this one out. Just be ready for the typical BS adventure game, logic puzzles. I haven't played any version of Shadowgate. Maybe someday that's something I need to get to. Yeah. Here's a question that I accidentally put into the wrong category here, so we can answer. Yeah, I know I blew it, but now we can answer this question that has nothing to do with the Game Boy Color. But Jayton asked me, when the Smash Brothers Wii U / 3DS fighter bout was happening, who did you submit as a request? I submitted Gino from and people are gonna probably tell me I'm saying that name wrong now too. Gino from Mario RPG.
I definitely said Geno as a kid.
Yeah, I always said Gino. Then I heard some people say Geno, and I was like, that doesn't. I don't know.
No, Gino
is a real name.
Yes, Gino's a name. Yes.
Yeah, but I've always wanted that since Brawl when people were on it. Now I can't complain too much because every other character I've significantly wanted in Smash Brothers has been added, like Mega Man, Simon Belmont, Ridley. Those were like the big ones for me for a very long time, and they're now all in there. I really can't complain too much. But they threw us a bone with the Gino Me outfit at one point, which was kind of neat. That's still the one. Did you ever answer that ballot back when they were doing that?
I don't think so. If I did, I probably just did Waluigi or whatever. I don't know if that was an option. You think you could just like write in stuff. That's what people were doing, because if that happened, I might have done Waluigi. So, but yeah, I didn't care all that much.
Benji Bob says, favorite Game Boy Color game is Pokemon Crystal, mostly because you can tell this game was made for color compared to gold or silver. Boy, does this game pop. I always had a soft spot for the legendary dogs. Shout out to Pokemon Movie 3 in, oh gosh, no, this name I'm definitely going to say wrong. Suicide is much more involved in this game. Most of why Gen 2 is good was explained last week, but I just want to reiterate how cool it was that the entire map of Kanto is in this post game. I do want to give a special shout out to Mickey's Racing Adventure, which to my knowledge is my first game I can remember playing ever, although I'm not sure if I ever actually beat it. Mickey's Racing Adventure. Game Boy Color Mario Kart clone? That sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
Let's see what that one's about.
Suicune? I don't know. I can't get that name either.
Suicide. That one was always
it's
hard.
definitely not suicide because it's SUICUNE.
Suicide.
No, I know, but there's no I after. Okay, we don't have to keep talking about pronunciation.
Racing Adventure is one of those like isometric racing games. Look at that. I always had a hard time with those isometric racing games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Celix Chasing Suicide. I don't know. That ain't typical. I never liked legendary dogs as much as legendary birds. I liked the 2 legendary birds that they added in Gold Silver, specifically Lugia. Lugia is amazing. Lugia is like top tier. Suicune?
Yeah.
That's pretty hard. But what is that supposed to mean? Like, what does that have to do with a legendary dog type Pokemon with ice abilities?
Fuck if I know.
AJ just reminded me of this. Like, apparently it was Iwata who specifically was the one who figured out how to get the whole Kanto map into Gold and Silver. I do remember hearing that.
Yes.
I think that is the thing. All right then. Comrade Jedi Moss says Pokemon Crystal is my favorite Pokemon game. I managed to get all 251 Pokemon on the Pokédex and played that game for more than 5 years. I thought, man, last year we got a lot of Pokemon Silver. This year, a lot of Pokemon Crystal. Yep. Seems pretty obvious.
I mean, I feel like that, like at that point in time, especially like, we have a slightly younger listener base. I mean, people were just coming to the Game Boy for Pokemon specifically at that point. So it's not surprising at all. Here's a super chat from David Redicop. I adored Top Gear Pocket Rumble on Game Boy Color. It had a Rumble Pack built in, and it was the first game I received alongside my Atomic Purple handheld. I feel like I played that game because I remember that Rumble cartridge.
I didn't know Top Gear came out on the Game Boy Color. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think there was a few that had like that weird triangle thing on the cartridge. So when you stuck it in, it would stick out and like it would do other stuff. But I think that's the one I had.
Apparently, this is another game that there's a Top Gear Pocket too. I don't know if that came out in the US also. It might have, but yeah, I had no idea those were those. Although honestly, this series was completely off my radar until like I became a retro guy, like older. I did not play Top Gear when I was younger. That's a game that desperately needs to be on Nintendo Switch Online. By the way, is Top Gear for the Super Nintendo. That would be very nice. So yeah, I think we have one more here, and it's a question and an answer to our question. What Game Boy Color did you own? I had Atomic Purple. This is just a question. I had. So this is funny. I had the Lime Green, and this was shortly after Pokemon Silver came out. So I had started it, and we were cutting the grass, and we lived by the woods. So when we cut the grass, we would often just like empty the lawnmower out into the woods. We had like a pile of grass there. I don't know how legal that is or not, but that's what we did. And I had my Game Boy Color in my pocket while I was doing this for some reason. I don't know. And I went inside when we were done with this, and my Game Boy Color was just gone. I had no idea. I assumed it must have fallen out in the woods, and I looked, and I could not find it. So I eventually just had to get a new Game Boy Color and a new Pokemon Silver and restart. 10 years later, walking in the woods, we came across my Game Boy Color.
What?
And the fucker turned on.
Oh my God! No way.
On.
That's insane.
I have it. I still have it somewhere. It's caked. It's caked in mud. It got gross. It still worked. It was beautiful. I couldn't believe it. I almost brought a tear to my eye. That's true. Those Game Boys, they are resilient. Yes. If you ever went to like the Nintendo store and you saw that Game Boy that was bombed or something.
Yeah, it was in the Iraq War or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it might have even been longer than 10 years. Honestly, it was a long time. Maybe not. Probably bananas. About 10 years. It was incredible. When I found it, I couldn't believe it. But I think the new one I got was also lime green. So when I think Game Boy Color, I think about that lime green. How about you?
I had I think what was the original purple model, not the atomic purple, not the transparent one, the translucent one. I had the real solid purple, and that's definitely what I think of when I think of Game Boy Color. And I had mine, and then I got my license, so that would have been 99. Right, so no, yes, 99. Like, and I'm still playing the Game Boy Color a lot at that time. Like, the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Advance hadn't even come out yet, right? In 99, It was like coming to the end of its life or whatever. I had it, and I had it in my car, a 1980 Chevy Malibu, and I don't know. It either got lost or someone stole it. Like I would give people a ride home from school or whatever, and eventually I just lost it. And I haven't had a Game Boy Color since. And I often go on eBay and think about buying one. But yeah, when I'm like, I'll just get the Analog Pocket. That'll be good enough. I'm trying to keep telling myself that, but yeah, that original purple it's still so good. Nintendo is always so good with their system colors, and that was a great looking system.
There's that tealish blue. That's very nice. At the time, I think I was kind of into those transparent things. I mean, that was a big thing in the late 90s, with the IMAX and everything.
Yes,
these days, when I look at it, I'm like, that's kind of ugly. I don't want that.
Right. Yeah. That solid purple is fantastic. I get, and it's why I got that Game Boy Color sweatshirt, because I have a lot of nostalgia for that thing, and it's just a good looking system.
All right, so one more here from Yemi Seth. Best Game Boy Color game is probably Pokemon Crystal, but I will pick Pokemon Trading Card Game. This game shows Yu-Gi-Oh! Even today how to do an interesting single-player card game, and the Japanese exclusive sequel was even better. Well, there you go. Man, localize that sequel. I want it.
Yeah.
So, man, I tell you what, like, Pokemon Trading Card Game and Pokemon Crystal seem to be the big winners here. So next month we're going to do, not next month, next week we're going to do Game Boy Advance. And that's interesting. I don't think, I'm sure Ruby and Sapphire are going to get some love. I don't think those are going to be the answers. The remakes of Red and Blue might get some love too.
Yeah, so, I think Game Boy Advance was just so good. So yeah, like there's going to be so many good options there.
Are there any other Game Boy Color games you want to give a shout out to?
I think most people mentioned most of them. Did anyone say Mario Golf?
No one said Mario Golf or Mario DX,
Tennis,
which were good.
Yeah.
There's no love for Metal Gear Solid Ghost Babel, which is like the best non-canon Metal Gear. That's another. That if they could get that on the.
Yes, that'd be fantastic.
That would be incredible.
That's a really good game. I think people might think like, oh, you look at it and like, oh, that looks like the old Metal Gear. Is that no? It's a great playing game. It's awesome. It's very good.
There's the original Shantae, which finally got that's just already on Switch. It got ported finally, so that would be cool to check out someday. Because I played some of the later Shantae games, but not the original. Pokemon Pinball didn't get much love here, but that is a fun game. I still think that Kirby Pinball is the best of the Nintendo portable pinball games, followed by Metroid Prime Pinball. But I liked Pokemon Pinball quite a bit. You also had Kirby Tilt and Tumble. I remember
Tilt and Tumble. Yeah,
that was starting. Resident Evil Gaiden, which is sort of similar to Metal Gear Solid Ghost Babel in terms of just like this big console franchise that had a surprisingly competent Game Boy Color game.
What about the Turok games?
I just watched a Digital Foundry Retro episode about Turok 1 yesterday. There were Turok games on the Game Boy Color. Were there any?
Yes. They were okay. They were like not the worst. They're side scrollers, but they're surprisingly pretty good. Quack Attack, Donald Duck's Quack Attack. I remember liking that game.
I remember getting mad at Quack Attack. Well, I only played the Dreamcast version, and I was mad because for some reason I looked at it and I immediately went, "Oh, they're making a sequel to Quack Shot," and that's what I had it in my head as, and it wasn't that. So I was, it was my fault, but I was.
It's actually pretty good. It's pretty good.
Well, that's good. Mega Man Extreme, which is sort of a Mega Man X spin-off series of the Game Boy Color, I remember liking those a lot. I haven't played them in a long time, but they were very good.
So the Game Boy Color version of Star Wars Episode 1 Racer was weird. It's a top-down one, but not like isometric. It's just like top-down, like you're just driving straight. It was weird, but actually surprisingly okay. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's any other ones.
Pokemon Puzzle Challenge on the Game Boy Color. That was fantastic.
Yes.
It's just that's Tetris Attack. And having that port, the Pokemon Puzzle League on the Nintendo 64 was also very good, but having it portable was very nice, obviously. So, yeah, there's also some good Dragon Quest ports here, Dragon Warriors. Yeah. So, but yeah, lots of fun Game
and
Boy
then
Color thing.
R-Type DX, I remember. I remember playing that and really liking that.
I think I said last time I need to do a whole Mike's getting into shoot shmups thing.
Right.
So I'll get on there.
Like there's some other ones that people list that I haven't played, like that Pocket Bomberman and Bionic Commando Elite Forces. I remember people really liking that, but I never played
Bionic
them.
Commando's one I've heard about too.
Yeah.
Sure, a lot of great Game Boy Color games that you can't play on a
Did you ever play any of? Oh my god! Did you ever play any of the Donkey Kong Land or Donkey Kong Country Game Boy Color ports?
No, well, I think the country ports were for Game Boy Advance, right? I think
No, there
Donkey
was
Kong...
a Game Boy. No, there was a game. There was a
What?
Game Boy Color Donkey Kong Country port.
What?
It looks
Really?
bananas. You should see. Yeah, you should look at it.
Bananas,
Yeah,
I know
I didn't mean
the Donkey Kong Land games always seemed a little rough to me. I don't know.
I agree. Yeah, and Super Mario Deluxe was good. All right. Yeah, that does it for me, Mike.
All right, yeah. So that's again next week. Game Boy Advance. That's a big one. I think I know my answer. I'm going to have to search my soul a little bit, but I think I'm ready for that one. That one's going to be. There's a lot to talk about there. A bit more than Game Boy Color, I'll be honest. But before that, Jeff, have you been playing any Nintendo games this week?
Yeah, because of the Game Boy Color stuff, I was just like looking around on one of my handhelds and seeing what they shipped to me straight from China, loaded with ROMs, and on one of them there was Legend of the River King 2, which is a fishing RPG that is basically like Pokemon but about fishing. And I started that up. It's from Natsume, and it doesn't seem like it has a lot of love. It's a weird game. And like I started up and like the first thing you do is encounter, well, you start your house with your mom and she tells you to go to the sea or something like that, go do some fishing. So I go do that, and like the first thing I do is I encounter a bird, and it goes into a random battle counter like an RPG, and then it's just like you have three options: you can beat, you can eat, or you can run. And it's just
always beat before you eat, Jeff.
Yeah, that's right. It's man, it was weird. And so it's like this bird, and it's like the text, like the color text for like what the bird's doing. It's like the bird is just being lazy. And I'm like, okay, am I supposed to beat it? Like, what am I supposed to do here? I'm supposed to destroy this bird, this nature that's just hanging out. Like, you put me in a random battle encounter. Does that mean it's attacking me? It doesn't seem like it. Whenever I attack it, I miss. It's a weird game. But I'm like I'm craving like a fishing RPG. Like, there's a fishing adventure game coming up here pretty soon. I can't remember the name of, but it's going to be on the Xbox and a few other things.
Yeah, I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I'm kind of in the mood for that. I really like the concept of video game fishing. I think a whole game built around that, like especially an RPG, could be really cool. I'm not sure if this one's going to scratch the itch though. And then I go ahead.
I feel like we haven't. Like, everything has fishing mini games now, but I feel like it's been a long time since we had like an exciting fishing game. Like, the last time I remember people caring was the Dreamcast one in my mind. There must have been one then, but like I really want something like this. Have you guys seen this? Like, I don't know if it's like hyper realistic and super soothing and super like interesting and fun fishing game. Maybe it exists and it's just not getting talked about because it is a fishing game and someone needs to tell me and I could check it out. But I'd be into that.
Well, I tried a few of the VR ones out, thinking like, oh, that would be where they are right now, and none of them are super great. They're kind of, I don't know.
They're fun. They're all interesting, but it's not exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah, but I'm definitely gonna check out that one. I won't have to think of the name of it. I wonder if it's coming to the Switch. But then I played a lot of the Forgotten City, which I hope comes to Switch. It's an Unreal Engine game. I think they could probably get it on there. It doesn't need to run at like 60 frames per second or anything like that. It's mostly.
I mean, Skyrim's on Switch, so.
Right, exactly. It's mostly an adventure style game where you're talking to like, and the reason you say Skyrim's on Switch is like this is a game that was once a mod for Skyrim, and then they ported it to the Unreal Engine, and now it's on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. But it's pretty magical. It's really good. It reminds me a lot of Oberdin and Outer Wilds and a few others. It even kind of reminds me of Hitman, where there's this great world where you can go and explore it. It's not huge. It's got a clockwork mechanism to it where people are moving on different paths, and you could sort of figure out ways to interrupt that stuff. And all that stuff's really interesting. Exploring the world, all its nooks and crannies, very rewarding, and you get to know these characters, and by the end it's like, man, the way that you can affect their lives is really moving. So it's a good game that if it comes to Switch, people should not miss it. So yeah,
cool. I've actually been playing a lot of Blaster Master, like the NES version that's on Switch. That is a series that I completely just missed. Never really played much of. Everybody's been talking about it the last few years more because of those Blaster Master Zero games from Inti Creates. So I was like, okay, what's something I could play here? Maybe I could talk Nintendogs. How about this? And I've been enjoying it. I'm about halfway through it. I just got into Area 5. It is surprising how ambitious this is for an NES game. It is like a full-on Metroidvania with like the dual genre thing. You have the 2D sections with the tank, and then you kind of go inside these other places, and then suddenly it's like a top-down Zelda but with shooting game. it's pretty nuts. Now, like if you're playing Zelda 1 or Metroid 1 at NES, you want some kind of a guide a lot of times because you don't have a map. It's not super clear where you're supposed to go. You know, you can get around that. Like that YouTube channel I talk about all the time, You Can Beat Video Games. He has a very good video about Blaster Master. You can kind of watch and it can help you out. Like one of the big things, and I think if you own this game in the NES, it would say in the instruction manual. But when you beat like Zone 4, you don't just like go to Zone 5 from there. You have to go back to Zone 1 and because you have a hover jump thing. Now you can get to Zone 4, right? So it's surprising. It's a lot of fun. I'm excited to finish it and check out those Blaster Master Zero games finally. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it's also Blaster Master 01 is really good. I played a lot of that, and I had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, I think 3's either out or is coming out, so I want to check. Sunsoft, which is often like they're kind of one of the more underrated NES developers because they also made that Batman game, and I'm going to be playing that mostly as an excuse to use this meme I made, so we can use it to promote the show next week. But aside from that, I got into, I've been playing more Skyward Sword finally. Now that my kind of retro FPS craving has been satiated a bit by Doom 64 and Quake, I finally have been playing more of Skyward Sword, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. I just did the first 2 dungeons so far. The dungeons are very good. I forgot how relatively simple they are. Like, at least these first 2 ones, they're surprisingly small and straightforward. There's not a lot of, like, nooks and crannies. Not a lot of like dead ends or secret areas, I guess, but they look very nice, and they are kind of. It is kind of fun to just not get super stuck forever necessarily, especially on Switch. And I just want to beat a dungeon in bed real quick. So yeah, I've been enjoying Skyward Sword. Going to be getting into more of that. Matt Mattathias just sent a super chat saying Mike should read the book Blaster Master. I know that they made actual NES books about the games. I don't think that's what he's talking about.
I don't think that's what he's talking about
Blaster Master, not Master Blaster. I'll tell you what, for a long time, because I didn't play Master Blaster as a kid, I thought that it was the same thing as Math Blaster or whatever that educated game was. I got them mixed up. Hey, wait a second. Yeah, Jason McLovin's right. Aren't you supposed to have read that Ball and Wonderworld book by now?
All right, everybody, we got to get going.
Wow.
We got to wrap this up. I think I have until the end of this month, right?
I thought, maybe. I thought I might have said September 1st, but we'll say the end of this month. You're fine. Oh, he was a typo. He meant Master Blaster, so I guess he did just mean the book that they
Okay.
made.
All right, fair enough.
He does mean the book to the NES game. No, I haven't read that, and I don't know if I'm going to. I can't make any problem.
A lot of those NES games did have those novelization, though.
Yeah, it's like all done by the same guy, I think.
Yeah.
Really.
Yes. Yeah. What if you wrote the Ballin book?
Yeah. A few. Before we go, Jeff, our editor, announced he's leaving GamesBeat this week. We should talk about that a little bit. Thank him. He's been with us since our BitMob days.
Yep.
Probably like 10 years ago now, or 9 years just about.
I think so.
Maybe 9 years at GamesBeat. So for us, probably longer than that even. So yeah, big shout out to Jason Wilson for sticking with us for a while, for teaching us a lot of things, for shielding us from probably some angry publishers when we made mistakes.
Yep.
Stuff like that. I'm sure he got a couple of angry phone calls here and there. But yeah, we really appreciate him. We hope that he enjoys some time off and whatever he wants to do next, even if it's just drinking beer and watching football, which sounds pretty good. I hope
he's earned
it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I echo what Mike said. So yeah, Jason Wilson has been, I mean, God, 9 years. I remember I was just looking. My first story on VentureBeat as like not like it was something that was ported from BitMob, but a story I wrote and was paid for was March of 2012, and it was like so it's almost a decade. And I think there was a little bit of a gap from when Jason Wilson was at BitMob and then when he joined VentureBeat, but it was like, it was not too long after that he joined GamesBeat, and it's been working here as editor since. And boy, it made a huge difference to my life to have a mentor. Basically, I didn't go to college, I didn't do anything like that, so to have someone in there saying, hey, here's where you're making some mistakes. Here's where I can help you. That stuff was, you know, invaluable, just having that mentorship. But then also just, he was a good editor. He's what you want in an editor. He always takes your side. He takes responsibility if you post something that, you know, blows up and it was a mistake. You know, he takes responsibility for that. Says, hey, I posted that, and really just kind of guided through action. And boy, does he deserve a rest, because he's done a lot for us. So yeah, I'm very happy for him.
And yeah, we've seen this could be a tiring field. I know there was that GameSpot writer. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name right now. Who
Michael Rago.
That's it.
Roju, yeah.
Yeah, he just left, and he kind of, you know, he wrote a not bitter, but a kind of realistic thing about how, you know, this could be a very thankless job. Sometimes it'd be rough. And, you know, kind of to that point, I know I was feeling that quite a bit until this the podcast started picking up a bit, and that sure has given me some wind beneath my wings. So thanks to everybody who's been listening here. I've been kind of lending some fun to the job. So, but yeah, we're gonna miss Jason. I'm sure, you know, we'll be keeping in touch. He'll have more time now to play all those RPGs.
Yeah. All right, Mike. I think we can wrap this up. You ready?
Yes, I absolutely am ready.
All right. Where can people find us on the internet?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Tolkoto, TOLKOTO. Check out 90s Disney, my 90s Disney podcast at 90sdisney.com. And we will be back on Friday for GameSpeak Decides. And yeah, tomorrow's that PlayStation event, so we'll be talking about that on Friday.
Yes, all that and more. Jeff Grubb on Twitter, Jeff Grubb on Twitch, youtube.com/Jeffrey Grubb. If you're listening to this on the podcast version, come hang out with us. We do this live Wednesday mornings, or if you just want to watch the video later, that we always put up the VOD and stuff like that. And if you're watching live on YouTube, go ahead one more time. Let's hit that thumbs up button, that like button. It really helps people find the show.
Smash that like button. Ring that bell.
The like button.
Just fucking destroy it.
Just for once. Just slam it with your butt.
Wow, grow up.
Wow, okay. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. I didn't say thank you so weird. Thank you.
Yeah, you said it
thank
pretty
you.
weird. Thank you.
Venusaur.
Who's in USA?